This video presents an overview of the measures collected in the self-completion questionnaire. At each wave of ELSA, interviewers have asked respondents to complete a self-completion questionnaire covering questions such as well-being, relationships, fruit and vegetable consumption, alcohol consumption, and time use. Everyone, but proxy respondents, is invited to complete this questionnaire. This may be completed while the other person in a couple completes sections in the computer-assisted personal interview, or may be left for completion afterwards. This table summarises the number and percentages of respondents who completed the core self-completion questionnaire for each wave of the study. Although usually the response rate is better, that is greater, for the main questionnaire, more than 85% of respondents also respond to the pen and paper self-completion questions. One main self-completion questionnaire is used in all ELSA interviews. In addition to this, several self-completion questionnaires have been introduced for specific purposes. For instance, at waves 6 and 8, all respondents were invited to complete a second self-completion questionnaire about their attitudes towards sexual activity and their experiences. Similarly, in wave 3, a subsample of respondents were invited to complete a second self-completion questionnaire with anchoring vignettes related to health and work-related health. The core measures of the main self-completion questionnaire include questions on well-being, social participation, quality of life, and social networks, along with questions of a sensitive nature. Most of the measures have been collected at almost all occasions. As you can see in this table, questions on quality of life, social support, and civic participation have been asked throughout the study. Measures on loneliness, satisfaction with life, and alcohol consumption, for instance, were introduced at Wave 2 and have been asked since. The self-completion questionnaire also includes other measures that are not collected at every wave. For instance, questions about personality and about discrimination were asked at Wave 5, and questions on self-perceived age were asked at waves 2, 7, and 8. In addition to the standard self-completion questionnaire, some respondents were asked to complete one of two supplementary self-completion questionnaires containing anchoring vignettes. Each questionnaire was made up of two sections. Respondents were first asked to rate, on a 5-point scale, various aspects of their own circumstance. They were then asked to do the same thing for a hypothetical person with the same background and age as the respondent. The questions enable analysts to see how different respondents rate themselves compared with how they rate the hypothetical examples. This information can be used to make comparisons between different groups or across time. They will facilitate cross-group and cross-country analyses, as very similar questionnaires were used in the Survey of Health and Retirement in Europe and in the Health and Retirement Study in the United States. The Sexual Relationships and Activities Self-Completion Questionnaire was introduced to the study in Wave 6 and repeated in Wave 8. This questionnaire includes questions on attitudes to sex, frequency of sexual activities and behaviours, problems with sexual activities and function, concerns and worries about sexual activities, function and relationships, and details about current sexual partnerships. Items included in this additional self-completed module were taken from validated instruments, with minor modification to ensure gender specificity and ensure harmonisation with other studies, such as the US National Social Life, Health and Ageing Study, and the third UK National Survey of Sexual Attitudes and Lifestyles. All participants completed the Sexual Relationships and Activities questionnaire in private, and sealed the questionnaire in an envelope upon completion. If you want to know more about the main and additional self-completion questionnaires, including the specific questions asked, please visit the page on resources. Thanks for your attention, and we hope you will join the community of ELSA users.